Welcome back, guys, gals, and NB pals. It's Monday, review time. And honestly, it's probably going to be a short one because what I feel for this book is indifference. So I read Something Wicked This Way Comes by Bradbury, a classic American piece of literature, apparently. It is horror, not my genre. This was for book club. I had no problem with it, though, because, like no problem with it being horror, because it wasn't really horror to me. It's dark carnival, and, that's fine, and, I wasn't looking forward to any kind of conclusion from it. I wasn't looking for, some great moment of, oh my god, that's so scary. Indifference. I will say that, I did mark a few pages here that are, pretty and, poetic lines, but the writing just felt really unnatural. But I also read that, it was originally written as a screenplay for his friend Gene Kelly. So he shopped it around and came back and was like, no one wants this, and so he wrote the book instead. So I'm like, maybe that's why it feels kind of weird, but that wouldn't make it feel unnatural. Or maybe he was, natural before and then was like, oh, if I've got to make it into a book, I'm going to make it feel not the way anyone naturally speaks. Does that make sense? It really sets up to be two boys and this carnival and them, being the ones to figure things out and put an end to this horrible thing that they're doing and whatever, but it's not at all. It's halfway through you get Dad, and Dad takes care of everything, and you're kind of like, oh, okay. I don't know. It's not going to dissuade me from reading other Bradbury, because this is the first Bradbury that I've read. Don't hate me. But it's just, it's a book. I read it. It had some pretty lines. I was like, okay, I've read it. There was nothing I loved or hated about it. It just didn't give me any of the suspense and longing that, I would usually get from, a horror book, I guess. Not very well versed in horror, so maybe I'm thinking more of a thriller kind of thing where you're like, so, oh my god, oh, and then things eventually work out. It was just kind of I'm reading, and I'm reading how things are happening. I read some more. Okay. Are we done? Great. That's what it felt like for me. I was just I read a book. Okay. So, is it good? I guess. Yes. I tabbed things that I thought were pretty sentences. It was not a chore to read it. I wasn't falling asleep reading it. So, I mean, it's good. My friends who like horror were like, yeah, and they liked it. So I was like, okay, good for you guys. Some of them felt, I think, indifference. They like different kinds of horror, I think. I don't know. One of them will correct me in the comments. Okay, so it has 123,000 approximately ratings on Goodreads. It worked out to a 3.92 stars. That's good. It's basically a 4, which is pretty good. But yeah, I don't know. I was looking at some comments and people either really, really love it or they feel like me and they're kind of like, yeah, I read it. Cool indifference, So I don't know what to say about it other than that. The villain was kind of cool. The illustrated man. But in terms of visuals, I didn't really get a lot. And the things that were happening, I was like, this is just weird. I don't know. I mean, I got a cool cover. I enjoy that. It's some special anniversary edition. And so the last 70-something pages are just interviews with other authors or authors writing essays about it or being oh my god about this and that and the other thing. And I'm just Good, because I did not have it in me to read 70 more pages when I was coming to like the conclusion. I was like, oh my god, if this conclusion goes on for 70 more pages, I'm gonna lose my shit. And then I was like, oh, it's wrapping up. It's wrapping up. What is happening here? And then it was like, turn the page and it's like, analysis. And I'm like, oh, good. No. So yeah. I'm happy to have read it. Would I recommend it? I don't know. I feel like it's for a very particular kind of person now in this day and age. Maybe back then it was great. It was published in, I think it was 62. So maybe back then it was just like, hell yeah, this is a great book. But like right now I'm kind of like in indifference. How many more times am I going to say indifference? None, because I'm ending the video right now. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you around next time.